G'day and welcome to Club Prairie Fire, the home of Tequila, Tabasco and the Duckworth Lewis Stern system. This is Season 8, Episode 6, the episode I've titled, I'm Not a Fan of the Duckworth Lewis Stern system. The ODI Ashes is heating up in almost a carbon copy of the Test series. The Aussies led 2-0, but England, courtesy of Harry Brook and Will Jacks in Durham, got it done. Well, sort of, courtesy of a couple of mathematicians that love inclement weather. They got it done. We'll get into that in the pod. Also, the mighty Sri Lankans took on the mighty Black Caps, and courtesy of a couple of inspired inningses by a couple of Mendezes, they managed to claim victory by 63 runs. We will get into that in the pod. Finally, the Indian Test team have popped on the creams once again to go into battle against Bangladesh, and courtesy of a ton by friend of the pod Ashwin and a ton by friend of the pod Rishabh Pant, and a ton by definitely a future friend of the pod, Shubman Gill, India got the W by 280 runs. We will definitely get into that in the pod. So, enough out of me. Let's bring in our experts. Now, a big treat today because we have an extra expert for you. That's right, a third and very special guest. As always, Michael Vaughan and Adam Gilchrist. Welcome. But as a special treat, a man who played a whopping 304 ODIs for India, a man who Cricinfo described as hitting the ball as long and clean as it's ever been hit. And most importantly, an Indian cricketer who was every Australian's favourite because of what he did to Stuart Broad, Mr. Yuvraj Singh.
Yes.
Welcome everybody. Let me just, Yuvi, very quickly, I like to ask this always of our guest. Have you seen any of this podcast?
Yeah, I have been seeing Gilly and Vaughany talk about a lot of stuff. And I saw Sehwag with them, and Sehwag was on the podcast, was just like his batting. Just see the ball and hit the ball. So I think it was kind of funny, and I thought, obviously, we would try to find time together to sit on it and talk about stuff. So yeah, it's quite looking forward to it because obviously play a lot of cricket against these top players, and yeah, just looking forward to have a fun chat.
Yuvi, Mickey V here over in Portugal, just over here on a little trip. What I'm disappointed with, Professor, is the intro to Yuvi. You didn't mention ex-Yorkshire player.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I meant to.
Can you redo it and just add ex-Yorkshire player, please?
I would happily mention it. Ex-Yorkshire player and the Indian cricketer who all Australians love because of what he did to Stuart Broad. I will say that as many times as you like, Ronnie.
That line should never be deleted. So I like the addition of the Yorkshire, but never delete that last one. No, that's brilliant. And the other thing, Prof, that you got wrong in that intro was there's no way in the world, if we've got Yuvraj Singh on our program, we're not touching any of the cricket that's already happened. We're not worrying about the one-day result, the test. We'll maybe talk about Rishabh Pant, given we mentioned we toasted him last week on the show, his return to test cricket. But we're going to talk to Yuvi about Yuvi type things. And one of those was 6 sixes in a row. Yuvi, I think it was yesterday, 17 years to the day since you blokes won the first ever T20 international tournament. Memories of that, are there any better than clubbing an Englishman out of the ground 6 times in a row just after you've been sledged by their big fiery all-rounder?
Well, I think it was the first T20 World Cup. And I guess nobody kind of knew how to approach a T20 game. I think Yorkshire, as Michael mentioned, was the first time where actually I played T20 games. Understanding the format, but 2007 was new and all our seniors were rested. And I think, as I said, there was hardly any planning, and it was just one of those days where, everything hits the center of your bat. And when I went into bat, obviously argument with Flintoff kind of encouraged that. And he said a few kind words to me, and I went back to check on him that is those pretty words for me, and kind of like when the umpire came in, and And I said to the umpire, I said, he started it. So, like, he stops it or you got to interfere. Anyways, he let it go. And I was a bit furious. And I was just like, you know what? I just want to hit every ball out of the ground. And it actually happened. And I think after the third six, when I hit Brody over long off, I think it was a good shot. And then Collingwood came and discussed with him to stick to the off stump line, like bowl Yorkers outside. And the offside, as you know, Gilly, when we played semi-final, was really big. And he just changed his line on the last moment trying to attack my legs. And I was like, this is good for me because leg side is shorter. and and the fourth ball that he bowled actually was a decent ball. It hit the toe of my bat, but the boundary was so short it went for a 6. and then the last ball, obviously I knew that there is no option, just a Yorker, because he was young, slower balls, slower bouncers, like variation was not there in T20 that time, if you see. So I guess it was in my slot and I just hit it straight. And I remember I got hit for 5 sixes against Dimitri in one of the one-day games. I didn't know why Rahul Dravid gave me the last over to bowl, because all our fast bowlers were getting pumped in oval. And I bowled a 48th over for 2 runs, and he gave me the 50th over where Dimitri hit me over 5 sixes. And when I hit the 5th six, Dimitri was at deep mid-wicket, and I looked at him and smiled. So I was like, that's equal now, and the last one is for me. So, yeah, one of the great memories of the T20 first World Cup,
Yeah.
Yuvi, what you're what we love on this pod is breaking news, and I think I've just got to go back to what you first said before you talked about slogging Stuart Broad for 6 sixes. Did you actually say that it was Yorkshire that made you as a T20 player? Did I hear that correct? Is that what I heard?
No. Probably tried my first T20 game was at Yorkshire, and I was very young that time, and I'm still trying to understand how to bat at those wickets. It was tough, but I think that my first T20 experience was at Yorkshire.
And that's full stop there. Nothing else to be credited to it.
No.
Can I also ask you? I mean, you mentioned Freddie Flintoff. Can you just give us a little bit of an insight in what he was saying to you?
I don't know. Freddie said to me, because Freddie bowled really 2 good balls actually. He bowled a length ball at top. I didn't hit the middle of the bat, went for a boundary, and then he bowled a really good Yorker, which I was able to, hit over point. And he said to me, sorry?
Like you do, just a good Yorker and you flick it over point.
and he said, while I was walking, I took a single of the last ball, and he went off to me saying, F shit shots.
Something really well thought out.
And I was like, I'm sorry. He repeated that again in my face. And I walked towards him and he kind of spat at me. And I said, do you see this bat in my hand? You know where it's going to go. So it was that kind of conversation. Obviously, it went worse after that.
Yeah, for them.
Details, but that's where the Empire came in, and and when I hit Freddie for 1/6, I enjoyed that more
than the 6 sixes. Now, Yuvi, when you look online on YouTube, because I've watched this a fair bit, as you can imagine, you hitting Stuart Broad for 6 sixes has 96 million views on the ICC YouTube page, which I'm just wondering, have you ever sent them an invoice? Because that would have made them. I mean, Ollie, you're better than me with this sort of stuff. What sort of cash has that made for the ICC?
Yeah, we're talking hundreds of thousands there in ads. So send them an invoice for sure. I mean, what you just said there about Freddie as well, when you mentioned the episode with Verinder, I said there's a bit of pressure because he is our most viewed clip ever when he was talking about the Big Bash contract not being enough and Sky Sports, which on Insta alone has done 7 million views.
Oh, wow.
So that, I mean, Freddie stuff might come in, but Vaughany mentioned, I did have a look. We have a theory on the show you may have seen about being a great. You've got to get 100 in Scarborough on a wet Tuesday night wicket. For or against Yorkshire. When you type in Yuvraj Singh Scarborough, it comes up. You've got to win an 18-run win against Kent on a Sunday night. Yuvraj Singh, 11 runs. There you go. So, I mean, they were a crucial 11 runs alongside Stephen Fleming and Michael Lum. But you did get out in a rare game at Scarborough. And got the win.
That might be my highest in Yorkshire, 11 runs. Please.
Well, it wasn't a fruitful time. Hey, Vaughany, sorry, Yuvi, just allow me to interrupt 1 second. Vaughany, Portugal. What is happening in Portugal? And I know that you are encroaching ever closer to the big 5-0 birthday later on in October. Has that got anything to do with why you're in Portugal?
Well, what we've done is, obviously my birthday's at the end of October, so we've brought, there's 28 of us out here in Portugal on a trip to find out who we want to come to my party.
Well, it's a selection trip.
Yeah, it's just a little bit of it's like a pre-season, when you take a few trialists to see if they're good enough to make it to the party on the 29th of October.
How many?
And what we've done is it's like a test match. It's a 5-day trip.
Yep.
And we're going into day 5 today. We've made it to day 5. Not many games last 5 days these days. This one is. We've got a full afternoon to get through today. And I guess if the team gets through today and they've lasted 5 days of getting in the sea at 7 a.m., playing paddle for 2 hours, having drunk copious amounts the day before, and then to get back on it by 12 o'clock, you have to have your first drink by 12 o'clock again. If you can make that and you can survive the 5 days, there's a very good chance that the 28 on this trip might make it to the party.
Wow,
we've got a chance.
You're batting well, though. You're batting well. You're looking nicely tanned.
He is, isn't he?
Yeah. I would say that was a bit of a mishap yesterday, Yuvi. I just had one of those moments where I fell asleep by the pool with not a lot on, to be honest, and that's why I'm looking like a bit of a beetroot. So, yeah, day 5, we'll get through it.
Now, obviously, lots to chat to Yuvi about. I was going to bring you in here. You are our erstwhile producer. I believe there's a little something you want to set up here.
Yeah, absolutely. And Gilly set up nicely as well. Speaking to Yuvi, I've also noticed Vaughany's obviously going for the baseball approach in his 5 days over there on the session. So that's great, as opposed to how his 50 strike rate was in tests. But yeah, Yuvi, we've got the massive series coming up, obviously, Border Gavaskar Trophy. And thanks to Cricket Australia Travel Office, they are coming to sponsor, and they are wanting to hear from everyone about great tour stories. Gilly last week told us how he dropped, I think a sitter was the word, from VVS Laxman and then retired pretty much on the spot there. So, yeah, we're wondering if there's any sort of memories you have from touring Australia on or off the field that you can share with us ahead of that great series we've got coming up in just a few months.
Well, on-field story is pretty much from 2003 to 2007, before we won the ODI series in Australia. We pretty much got bashed up every tour we went to Australia. We did have some competitive games, and obviously, it was being on a hostile ground. Actually, Australia has been tough tour always because of the environment, the wickets, because Australia dominated for so many years. But on the lighter side, there are some fun stories on the tour where I actually was dating an actress. I won't take her name, and she kind of was.
Was she a good actress, Yuvi?
Very good. She's really good at the moment. A lot of experience, and she actually was shooting in Adelaide. I told her, listen, let's just not meet for a bit because, an Australian tour need to focus. And she actually followed me to Canberra in a bus. And it was middle of the test tour, and in the first two tests, I didn't get many runs. And I was like, what are you doing here? She was like, I want to spend time with you. I was like, okay. So, sorry.
That's
Is
not
that,
her,
is
is
that
it?
her, you?
They're calling her.
So, yeah, she kind of like, I met her in the night, and we were kind of chatting that, you need to focus on your career and I need to focus mine because I'm on the Australia tour. You don't know what that means. And anyways, leaving in the morning for, I think we were going to Adelaide from Canberra, and she packed my suitcase. And before leaving in the bus, the bags already go in the night. In the morning, I was like, where are my shoes? She goes, I think I packed them. It was like 10 minutes to go to get in the bus. So I was like, how am I going to go in the bus? And she said, why don't you wear my shoes? So she had these pink slip-ons. And I was like, oh my God. So either I walk bare feet to the bus and to the airport, to Adelaide, or I, go barefoot. So I had to wear those pink slip-ons, which was size 8. I'm a size 11. And I was carrying my bag like this in front of my shoes, trying to hide them. And the guy saw me in the bus, and everybody was like, gave me a clap and cheered for me. And I had to walk to the airport in pink slip-ons till I got to buy actually some flip-flops on the flight, and just got fined. And yeah, and then got dropped the next text match.
Oh, right. So it didn't turn your form around?
So that's
Oh,
the
good.
embarrassing story of 2007 tour. Yeah,
Hey, you
2000.
of all you just too quick of all the Australians that you hammered, obviously with the bat in hand. Who was your favourite?
I think I really enjoyed watching Ricky bat. I I kind of like loved the way he approached the game. I think he was a captain who always wanted to be in the difficult situation rather than sending other guys. And when I see other captains from around the world, some don't do that, you know. So I appreciate that about him. And then obviously when these guys were four down and this man would just walk in and smash everybody around like it was just like another day in the park. And but we were
Who
just
was
talking.
that, Damien Martin?
I mean,
He batted 6.
we were just talking about Rishabh. I think Rishabh has a lot of Gilchrist in him because he is someone who always comes and changes the game at number 5 and 6. Because you see you're in a position to get them out, and someone who just sticks to his game and just takes the game away. So I feel a lot of Rishabh when I seen Gilchrist bat. And I actually mentioned a lot to Rishabh about what was Gilchrist's approach, how he changed, the middle order batting in Test cricket when we were playing. So I feel that he's definitely a match winner at number 5 and 6 in Test cricket for
You,
us guys.
do you think Rishabh will ever be as good as Jamie Smith?
I don't have an answer for that.
Yeah, that's good. It doesn't deserve an answer, but that's amazing. The pink slip-ons and, of course, cricket.com.au/travel. I think, Ollie's where you can get your tickets and your flights and your hotels and everything sorted. But what I do want to ask you, I want to just tail that story, Yuvi, a story about you, right? I want to share with the other three gentlemen and anyone that might happen to listen or watch this. I walked into a restaurant some years after my retirement in Bandra in Mumbai. I was on a business trip with a few colleagues, walked in, bumped into your good self at the bar of the restaurant where you were having a drink and about to have a meal with some colleagues of yours. I don't know if you remember this, but had a chat, had a quick drink. It was great to see you. I went off my way, had dinner in the part of the restaurant I was in. You had your dinner. We went to pay the bill, and you'd picked up the entire bill for myself and 4 other colleagues, which is unbelievable. Great generosity, stupidity on our behalf, because if we knew, we would have cashed in a bit more and hit the top shelf, would have got the best wine and the Wagyu beef. But, mate, that's extraordinary generosity. And I'm not sure, I think I sent you a message not long after, but I don't think I've seen you face to face to say thank you very much for that, mate. That kind generosity indeed. So thank you after all these years.
You're welcome. It was just me trying to thank you for all the grief that you're giving me behind the stumps.
Well, that's nice payback. Hey, you mentioned before about punters' captaincy that you love. Who of the Indian captains you played under did you find gelled most to your style, or you were able to perform your best under? Because I guess there's Surav, MS, Sachin, I suppose, at some point. Rahul, you mentioned.
Yeah, we had a couple of guys, but mostly it was Saurav and MS for a while. I think I got in the side when Saurav was the captain, and he kind of like gave us a lot of confidence in terms of and a lot of chances because we were younger, we were not consistent. Like myself, Sehwag, and a couple of other young guys, Bhaji and Zahir Khan. So he kind of stick to us for a bit because he knew that these guys can be match winners in the future. And then obviously the team went to Rahul for a bit and then to Dhoni. So when I think when the team went to Dhoni, we had a really good coach, Gary Kirsten, who actually made us believe that we can actually win the World Cup and be the number one test side. So it was, and obviously Dhoni was a good captain as well. Saurav was more of being aggressive and trying to take teams head on. And what I liked about Dhoni was that MS had already had a plan B. Like if plan A doesn't work, go to plan B. So different captains, and then Kumble became the test captain when we came to Australia. The test captain. I thought Kumble was a guy whose attitude was to be take the ball when the situation is tough, not give it to another guy. And when the wickets are falling, let me take the ball. So I thought that kind of attitude was great that you need in a leader. And that's why I talk about Ricky, that he had that mentality of a leader, of stepping into bat when things are tough. And whatever situation is, he's ready to bat. And but I think I would definitely say Saurav was the guy who actually, gave her the opportunity to, shine in international cricket.
Yep.
Now, you talk about amazing international captains. Yuvi, played against Michael Vaughan's England, and you played against when he was at the helm, and you played against Adam Gilchrist's Australia when he was vice captain, or maybe even when you were captain. Did you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. 2004.
Let me ask you, Yuvi, once and for all, when you were coming up against those two sides, which one was more formidable? Which one were you more concerned about playing against? Vaughany's England or Gilly's Australia?
Yeah. Good
Well,
question.
obviously, when you're playing them at home, it's always tough. But to be honest, when Australia was coming to India, I just felt that the middle order batsmen, even Hayden and uh, these guys swept really well on Indian wickets. I felt that why Hayden, Gilchrist were successful in India because they swept the ball really well on turning tracks. And I felt with England, we always had a chance in the middle order because I felt a couple of guys were not good at spin. But obviously, going to England with
And there's more than a couple, Yuvi, to be honest.
when you go to England, you got the Duke's ball and it's darting around. You got Jimmy Anderson, Brody, and Flintoff. That's like a tough attack in England. So, but I would say that Australia would definitely be more dangerous away and home. Yeah. No offense. What do you
Yeah, good answer.
Very good answer.
Vaughany normally asks this question, but I'll jump in. I guess the next question is, what about now? You mentioned aggressive style of captaincy with MS Dhoni. You've probably seen this little thing called Bazball, which I think is saving the world. Vaughany's mentioned. What are as a very attacking player in his day, what are your your thoughts and take on it overall as a concept? We saw it earlier this year in India with minimal success is probably the fair way to put it.
That's polite.
See, I think whether it's baseball, cricket, or whoever is the coach, you have to stick to your kind of play. You know, a coach can only come and tell you an aggressive style or a certain style of play, but I just feel the coach has to be adaptable in terms of what is the best of how this guy I can get the best out of him. Because if you tell a Gilchrist or a Rishabh to like play the situation, knock the ball around, build a partnership, you can't get the best out of them. I mean, if somebody like Rishabh, you gotta go and tell him, you play your game. Because if India is 20 for 3 and he plays a stupid shot, it's gonna look really bad. But there are going to be times when he takes that chance and he can put into India a position to win the test match as well. So you have to back your guys. And I feel as a player, and if I'm going to be the coach in the future, I would want to back my match winners. Because I know if they fail in 2 games, they have an opportunity to win the next 3 games. So I would want to build my team around match winners, not people. Yes, you can stick around, play the sport. The sport is not about sticking around anymore. Yes, bit of test cricket when you're playing in England and Australia. There are tough patches where you have to stick around, but the game has evolved a lot, especially after T20 and IPL. Yeah, one-day cricket is definitely going down.
Absolutely. The other thing, Yuvi, that we often debate, and I'll pose this as a hypothetical. Let's say you're now in charge of a World 11, Test World 11, and you can only pick either Virat Kohli or Joe Root. Now, this was a debate that we had that went a little bit viral. Right now, who are you picking in your Test side, Joe Root or Virat Kohli?
It's a tough one. Obviously, Joe Root is breaking records. If it's you can't see where you playing. You also have to see that.
Yeah.
Right? If you're playing in England, obviously you'll pick Joe Root. But if you're playing all over the world, I will pick Virat Kohli because I know that on certain wickets he can do a lot of damage. So it's a debatable question. Yes, on form right now, definitely Joe Root. But if you look at all formats, then definitely Virat Kohli.
We're getting the same answer from everybody.
Yeah, well, it's interesting, and just on throwing this to Vaughany and Gilly, you obviously joined the Cricket Com show last week or 2 weeks ago, and they asked you a question, and I'm sure you've had a few messages since. I've seen we've got a bit viral. It was along the lines of bench start drop, essentially. It says Rohit Sharma. It was MS Dhoni and Virat Kohli, right? Play, sell, and bench. Vaughany,
This was in IPL cricket.
IPL
This
cricket.
is for the IPL, yeah.
And
Yeah.
how have your TMs been? Play, sell, bench.
Very good. Very well, yeah, because I had to play the king of the IPL, which I believe is MS Dhoni.
Yep.
I believe Rohit 5-time champion. I have to have him on the bench in case MS got a little bit of a niggle. And unfortunately, I've had to sell Virat. But I've got a lot of money for him, so I'm quite happy. Where are you going, Yuvi, in those 3? Who are you going to play? In the IPL, you can choose one of those 3 to play. The next one's on the bench. And unfortunately, you're going to have to sell one of them. Who are you going for?
I probably would go for Rohit Sharma if it's T20 cricket. As a player, I probably would go for Rohit Sharma because a good, outstanding captain and someone who can change the game.
Yep.
With his batting, for sure, Rohit Sharma would be my first choice.
And who are you putting on the bench?
Myself. If I take anybody's name to be on the bench, it's going to be a headline tomorrow, and we're going to get excruciated for it. I
Well,
mean, we all smart enough. We know who needs to go on the bench, but I'm just going to stick to Rohit Sharma's name.
Joe Root.
Well
Joe
played.
Root benched.
well, I actually agreed with Vaughany's philosophy around those three positions, and we did attract some headlines, didn't we? I think the Hindustan Times was the most recent one to say Virat on the bench. ... Vaughan and Gilchrist. We're really keen to get Virat on the pod, Yuvi. Given your diplomacy that you just showed just there, in not naming anybody on the bench, can you just give Virat a ring and see if he'll come on the podcast and that we do love him and we don't think he's
Well,
out of the game?
since you benched him, I don't think he's coming on your podcast.
Opportunity gone begging.
We actually didn't bench him. We sold him.
We sold him.
Even worse.
So he's not. I don't think he's going to take that well.
Maybe you could frame it. He gets that money. You could frame it. You were giving him good, a good bit of commission, a bit of clip.
He needs cash. He needs cash, doesn't he? He's short.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, I want to go back. I'm not sure if you other three are aware that we are in the presence of the national under-14 roller skating champion of India.
No way.
Is that true, Yuvi?
That was your passion, wasn't it, as a sport, as a youngster, Yuvi?
Yeah, because I didn't want to play in the heat and look like Michael Vaughan.
Like a fried tomato. Yeah.
And my father was very hell-bent that I play cricket because he didn't play for India for long.
Yeah.
And he wanted to live his dream through me. So I won a gold medal. The gold medal went out of the car with my skates, and he was like, no more roller skating from now on. So started to play cricket. I used to hate playing cricket in the sun. It's okay to play with your mates in the in the streets, but playing 6 hours in a day was not nice. But I guess I had a good hand-eye coordination, and he kind of saw that, and he just like for the next 8 years he was just excruciating on me. So I think that's the reason why I played for India when I was 18 and a half, almost 19. Played against Australia my first game, and he kind of like prepared me for those situations.
Mate, you beat the shit out of us first time you played up. So hang on, just for clarity, you received the gold medal off the podium into the car, and on the way home, the old boy winds the window down, not only throws the skates out, but the gold medal as well.
Yes, and I went looking for it the next day. Just couldn't find it.
So when you're doing these amazing things, hitting sixes in a row, winning tournaments, getting hundreds, the whole time were you thinking, I just wish I was at a roller skating rink? Is that what? Is it your second passion that you did really well at? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, good point, actually. I mean, that's the kind of thought I've had, that I'm glad my father made me move my sport. Because as a young kid, you actually don't know, what's good for you. You think, when you're a teenager. And, I'm glad he put some energy into me and try to focus on one thing. I was playing golf with Daniel Vittori, and my son was just born. And I was playing around with him. I was like, it's the best feeling in the world. He's like, wait till he's 13. And because my son is an absolute, I won't say the word, but I'm sure you'll understand what he was trying to say. So he's like, wait till your son turns a teen, then you can talk to me. And I was at that age where I was just like, I don't think my dad knows anything. So yeah.
Well, he did a good job. He did a great job.
Yeah. I mean, just before we hit record, we wondered if, Vaughany was at the golf course or whatever. And Gilly, you were saying the same thing. There was a famous Ricky Ponting. You think he chose the wrong sport potentially to go professional in, and he's the top run scorer for Australia. Is that right?
Yeah. We were talking about golf and who's the best cricketing golfer that any of us had seen, or Yuvi and I both agreed. Not sure what you think, Vaughany, but punter hits it as cleanly and as well as any professional. Yeah, I told punter for years that he played the wrong sport. He scored the most test runs ever for our country. But anyway,
So is there a
I think,
sport?
I think Zach Crawley's got him covered now.
really, wow.
Does he?
Oh,
Yeah.
he's a player. He's a good player. Very, very
Yeah.
good. Hey, Yuvi, what's your handicap these days on the golf course? I see you on Insta always on the course.
Must be between 8 and 10, somewhere there. Getting there.
We know.
Yeah, about
like
8,
that.
9. Yeah.
And you play with Sachin. I mean, we mentioned Virat coming on the pod. I mean, Sachin would be quite handy. If you can just, when you're on the third tee, just say, Sach is a really good podcast. It's kind of hitting the headlines.
No, I'll tell you what, no, even better, just we'll get the link up, just carry your phone around.
Yeah.
He doesn't even need to know he's on the pod.
Yeah.
I think you can go to jail for that sort of stuff, but we'll try it.
That's a very good question, though, Gilly. For you and Vaughany, obviously Yuvi was a roller skating champion. Was there another sport that you liked better than cricket, or was there another sport that you've always wished, you'd excelled at? Vaughany?
Well, I still prefer this sport over cricket now. It's football.
So I always wanted to be.
I was at Sheffield Wednesday when I was 11.
What to watch?
I was, and then I was there. Honestly, it's a true story. And then at the Easter half term, there's a week's trial for the academy intake that was going to be in September. And I think there was 36 of us arrived on the Monday, and it was kind of a bit like the X Factor, and they were chopping you down until Friday, where they were going to announce, I think, 14 or 15 into the academy. I didn't make Tuesday. So that was my football career over.
Yeah, there was nothing I liked more than cricket, but like most young Aussies, I had a crack at most things outdoors: soccer, footy, like Australian rules, tennis. Gave them all a crack. But I remember,
Squash.
I suppose if there was a squash, I used a squash ball at some point in my career, but not the squash. There was a day we were in the change rooms when it was raining, and we went round the change rooms trying to fill in time. So, righto, boys, what's your best other sport? And punter was golf. My best other sport, if I had to say the best one was probably soccer. Goes around Haydos and Roy, rugby league. Goes to Mark War, and he said soccer, rugby league, footy, tennis. And he peeled off all of them as being equal second best sport because he represented Australia in 3 of them. So he wasn't lying, he wasn't embellishing, but he was just fucking good at everything.
He tells that story, Gilly, where because the War brothers and Robbie Slater used to go to soccer training together. And, and so Robbie Slater, great Australian footballer, won an EPL premiership title. I can't remember.
Blackburn Rovers.
One of our best players of all time. And Mark War tells the story that the 3 of us used to go to training, and Robbie was the 3rd best soccer player in that car.
Yep. He said, Robbie, he's shit. All he could do is run.
Yeah. just amazing. Now, I am conscious of time here, gents. I think we do need to, if you don't mind, have a little look towards this summer where the Indians. Have you got anything before I do that, Gilly?
I've just got one quick question. Yep. It's slightly, we try to be lighthearted here, Yuvi, as you might have sensed, but your health, mate. Obviously, 2011, the cancer, well, more than a scare, a big procedure you went through. How is it? And you've got the charity fired up and functioning now, haven't you?
Yeah, I have a charity called UV cancer charity. I think through my journey after the World Cup, I think I wanted to come and do something for the society because I don't know how much cricket I was going to play and how much my body would adapt to playing again. So I think we have a couple of programs where we help children below poverty line, and if their parents have lost a lot of funds in treating them, we give them scholarship, and we've also treat them as well. We've done more than 500 kids for scholarship, more than 100 children for treatment, and we have various programs for women as well, breast awareness cancer, and our buses are going all over the smaller cities in India to test women who don't have the means to get checked. And early detection is the key to save your life from cancer. So these are the kind of things that our foundation is working on. I think when I was getting treated in Indiana, went to Lance Armstrong's office and could understand the kind of work they do. That did have a feedback from them what we can go back and do. And yeah, that started in 2013, and now we got some really big projects, and we're helping a lot of people in the society. So it's a feel good factor.
Brilliant.
Awesome.
And your health personally is all clear still? All good?
Yeah, I'm good. It's been almost 13 years now.
Yeah.
Just train hard, work hard, and eat well, and I'm okay. Golf is saving my life.
Good. Great.
Very,
Very nice.
good.
Well done, mate. Well done.
Love that.
Now, I did just want to take a quick look at this summer. India obviously recently has had quite a good time of it down under is a nice way of putting it. Yuvi, do you think that will be the case again for this touring Indian side this summer against the Aussies?
Well, when India was 30 all out, the previous tour, the one in, and they won the series 2-1 from there. I would have never thought that India could win 2-1 in Australia after losing like that. We came pretty close, but obviously this generation of players they had 11 match winners. It was hard to beat them. But then I just think that in the current generation, we played cricket in terms of not thinking too much about the opposition. We knew that we were playing in Australia, and I thought the preparation of the younger guys was really good when they went to Australia. Like if we went to Australia 2003, 2007, we probably would have a week, 10 days or 2 weeks to prepare. But I think the last group prepared really well for the last tour. I mean, result is irrelevant, but I think their preparation was really good, the last tour and the previous tour. And yeah, beating Australia twice in Australia is quite big. And especially of our past history where we didn't win in Australia. And I think the team definitely will be prepared. As long as they're prepared, I'm sure they'll do well. But I'm sure it's not going to be easy beating Australia and Australia. That's like beating Australia and Australia is like winning a World Cup. So it's not impossible, but if they prepare well and if they stick together as a group, as they got around 30 and they won the Test series, and I think they can win.
This is a good moment for a little score prediction from all our three cricketers. We might give Yuvi a break here. Vaughany, India v Australia this summer. Score prediction?
Ooh, I think it's the best series that world cricket can see at the minute. Two best teams. I would think I think it's going to be 3-1, and I think Australia will win.
Okay. Gilly?
I'm guessing that drawn test is Sydney due to rain.
That's correct.
Which seems to happen every year. I'm going to go a 3-2 result.
To Australia.
Just 3-2.
Okay.
Australia. I'm going to say Australia. I think that, this Australian team, there's a number of players that have never beaten India. So, they'll be up for the challenge, I reckon. But, she's line ball.
Yuvi, would you like to give us a prediction?
Two guys have obviously gone for Australia, so it should add India here, and probably would say 3-2 to India.
3-2.
Okay.
What a series.
5 Test series too. Good to see.
Jot those down. We'll take a look in January or February and we'll see how the three guys went. Now we are
You
Now
can always
powering-
claim the moral victory as well, Yuvi. It doesn't go your way.
Yeah.
You can always do that.
We'll take it. We'll take it.
We might be.
Yeah, absolutely. Now we do obviously have the quiz. Ollie, you've written one for Yuvi today. Am I correct? Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But before we get to that, have we got somebody, another sponsor on board? I believe
they're actually they're sponsoring the quiz. They love it, and I think they've sent something. Gilly, they tuned in. It's MANSCAPED. They tuned in and saw you growing a bit of a beard. That you've got there.
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. It's very timely. This little gift turned up. It's,
and the undies.
Got the right on.
sorry, I've done a Vaughany.
Have you been using the equipment on the Bazballs or?
Sorry about that. They're very good, comfortable underwear, but I've got the whole. Look at this little gift pack that's turned up. This is outstanding.
The beard and balls bundle.
This is,
love it.
Oh, there you go. My what's dropped out there? My crop soother. So anyway, it's all there. The Manscaped. There's little zappers. There's little trimmers. There's lotions, potions, and everything. But
love it.
No, for it's going to come in good use for me. I believe this little device here is waterproof, so you can get in the shower and do whatever you got to do. But
perfect.
Anyway,
there you go. If you want that kit as well, they're giving 20% off with free shipping with the code CPF at manscaped.com. So you can jump on there and get that. And I did have a look at some of Yuvi's haircuts through the years, which were fantastic on Google. And currently now, there we go, a bit of pride in the top of it. They're bringing the quiz. So Yuvi, how this works is 5 questions, all about you. And then also Vaughany and Gilly brought in to each of the answers. So we're going to get underway with question number 1. What is higher, Gilly's ODI sixes, Yuvi's ODI sixes, or Vaughany's ODI top score and his strike rate combined?
in the population of India.
Can I answer first? Yuvi, what I do with Ollie, I go into his psyche, and I think what he's trying to do is be nice to me in some kind of silly way. I'm going to choose myself for this answer.
Okay.
I'm going Yuvi.
Yuvi, who are you picking?
Probably Gilly was the opener, so definitely Gilchrist because he didn't hit boundaries only 6.
Gilly, 149.
The most sixes I hit in a little period of time was when using the bat that you gave me with the flexi handle, mate. Jesus, they pinged off that.
There you go.
The look on your face, you didn't realise you gave it to me. I didn't steal it, I promise you. You gave it to me.
I was wondering, were you telling me or are you telling Vaughany? Who's
mate, I was never going to go and get one of Vaughany's gun on Moors, mate. I was coming to you.
Awesome, mate.
The Purist was a delightful piece of willow.
Gilly, 149 ODI sixes. Yuvi, 155. Vaughany's top score and strike rate, 158. Only just.
That's how it works.
There you go, Pro. Put that one down. Smoke it.
Boom. Question number 2. What is higher, Yuvi's first-class runs or Gilly's?
First class test runs or first class?
Well,
just first class?
Test are first class included.
Yeah.
Are they? All right. Did you play much first class cricket in India?
I played a lot because I was a 12th
Yuvi.
man cricket team for Test cricket, and I was playing only going back and playing domestic cricket. I played a lot.
Yeah, Yuvi. Good answer.
How many first class games do you reckon you played, Yuvi?
Don't help him, Yuvi. Don't help him.
Including 40 Test matches, I played about 126 first class games, I think.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I'm going to go Yuvi as well.
Yeah, Yuvi.
How many first class games did you play, Gilly?
Me, I'm going to hazard a guess around 170.
Oh, geez, it has to be you.
So we've got
should be, but I got out a lot.
We've got Gilly. Gilly did 190. Yuvi, you're 139. But overall, it's Yuvi 12,663, Gilly's 11,326. Yuvi just gets it. There you go.
Beautiful. Vaughany, what eyewear have you put on there and why?
Just the MV Black Art.
Oh, they're the tour. They're the tour model.
Tour model, yeah. These are the tour.
But these ones,
shade.
These ones don't record people when they don't know, do they, Vaughany? These aren't spy ones.
Are they the recording ones?
Nah, these are just the trendy ones.
They make your head ping even more with that contrasting red.
Vaughany 2, Gilly 1, Yuvi 0.
Yep. Okay. Perfect. So number 3 is who hit more Test match sixes, Yuvi or Vaughany?
Oh Jesus! What kind of question's that?
Very easy one. It should be.
Did he hit any sixes when he scored 300 in Australia?
Just one or two. One or two. Top edge,
couple of top edges off Dizzy.
Oh, it's got to be Yuvi, hasn't it? It's got to be Yuvi.
It's got to be Yuvi, doesn't it?
I don't think so.
Right. Actually, I'm gonna go against the grain here just to try to catch up Vaughany. I'm going to go Vaughany.
Yeah, me too.
Yuvi 22, Vaughany 23.
Oh, believe it. Jeez, Gilly. I think you want to come and get one of my bats, Gil.
And thanks to listener Michael Vaughan for sending that one in. Thanks very much. Perfect.
Well, a very good question that was, Ollie.
Thank you. A minute ago, what sort of question's this? Good turnaround there. Do we have a score update, Prof, after 3?
Gilly 2, Vaughany 2, Yuvi 1.
Okay, number 4, 2 to go. What is higher, Gilly's top list A score or Yuvi's top list A score? So that's sort of not test, obviously.
List A.
Limited over.
Sort of domestic one-dayers, aren't they? Not international one-dayers.
Oh, Yuvi.
Yeah, I'll go Yuvi in that.
I mean, I don't know what's your highest score, Gilly? That's gonna give the answer.
Oh, mate, I got some hundreds, but not big hundreds. I don't recall.
Oh,
maybe.
Okay. So not double 100. Then I might beat you to that.
Yeah, you got the double, did you?
No, I got 178 in Sri Lanka against Sri Lanka A.
Oh, there you go. It's a win.
Yeah.
Do you know quizzes generally you just give your answer rather than tell each other what answer to give, if you know what I mean?
It's a collaborative approach to try to catch you up.
I think list A did include ODI and Cricinfo, but 172 Gilly, 178 Yuvi. Yep, there you go.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
But all three of you said Yuvi, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Gilly 3, Vaughany 3, Yuvi 2. So Yuvi can tie.
Yep.
Or one of you gents can jump ahead here.
And the last question is, what is higher, Vaughany's first-class wickets or Yuvi's ODI wickets?
We've had this before.
Yeah.
But not with Yuvi.
I definitely would. I mean, we both were part-time bowlers, so I don't know who's going to be worse at bowling.
Jeez. Yuvi, you've just dealt Vaughany a crucial blow there. He's always thought of himself as much greater than that.
I mean,
I've never been part-time, Yuvi.
Never that long, never that much.
Semi-part.
I'm going to go Yuvi. Yuvi played about 3 million one-dayers. I'm going to go Yuvi.
Yeah, I probably have 111 wickets, so might be.
Oh, I'll go myself, Ollie.
Oh,
I'll go myself. Just a little change there.
I'm going Yuvi. I reckon there's
It's another win for Vaughany. 111 for Yuvi, 114. 3 more. Great.
Well done,
believe that.
Well done.
Very
Can you just
good.
make sure your headline, Ollie, just before, because I've got to go on the paddle court now, but this trip obviously includes paddle. Can you make sure you put it on the headline that I hit more sixes than Yuvi in Test cricket, please?
And wickets as well. I'll chop wickets for the first class. There you go. And also your strike rate and ODI score. It was a real Vaughany quiz, actually, by accident. There you go.
Unbelievable.
Oh, yeah, by accident. Yep, I get it. Good. All right, great quiz, all. Congratulations, Vaughany, again.
Yeah, well done.
And first and foremost, a big thanks to you, Yuvi, for coming on. That was an absolute treat, mate. So lovely to meet you and chat to you.
Thank you.
Absolutely fantastic.
Very, very good to have you on. Let us know how you go with following Sachin around with the phone. We'll let you know how to go with that. Now, just a reminder, we are at Club Prairie Fire everywhere. That's YouTube, TikTok, Insta, and X. Also, like and subscribe. Tell your friends, tell your family. And we are on Patreon. Now, Yuvi, as is tradition on Club Prairie Fire, we leave with a toast, and I hand over to the great Adam Gilchrist.
Yeah.
Yes, mate. This the podcast is named after a particular beverage that has a little dash of tequila and a little dash of Tabasco. So, not sure if you're a tequila aficionado. I know a few of your former teammates, some who you mentioned today, enjoy a little tipple occasionally. But, mate, the toast is simply great to have you on. It's a pleasure to see you. Wonderful to talk to you. Recount old stories, know that your health's good, your charity's firing, you're good, your golf game's good. So the toast goes to Michael Vaughan for hitting more sixes than you in Test cricket. Outstanding, morning. Well done, mate. Cheers.
Good morning.
Cheers, buddy.
Well done, guys. You, mate.
Great chatting.
Thanks.
So, Yuvi.
Remarkably, you've watched the show. Thank you. That's all I can say. And if you really like it, press something, I don't know, something on the screen, press it, or subscribe. That'd be really handy. It'd be really nice. Thank you.